sometimes I have to neglect the kids.
Tell you, Chad, I'm really glad you're home. Our house is so much better with you here. But there's one part of me that really hates that you're here.
I personally think that every single family vlogging channel on YouTube needs to be deleted. I don't care. Because 10 times out of 10, these parents are treating their kids like shit and exploiting their kids for money. And this is exactly what Ruby Frank of the 8 Passengers family channel was doing to her children. And for those who are unaware of the situation, I'm going to show you guys exactly why she was arrested, why she's been charged, and why she's never getting out on a bail. So firstly, Ruby is an incredibly selfish person. She exploited her children to make money online, kept all the money to herself, and then refused to buy the children that she's exploiting in these videos clothes, for jobs, and for school.
Do you want to work at Taco Bell?
I don't know.
Where else? What, like, do you want to be like?
Because I need to buy clothes, and mom is like, I'm not buying clothes for you. You have to buy your own clothes, and I need clothes.
Because Ruby, it's like you said yourself, you are literally making millions off of these videos. He clearly wanted to get a job because you refused to support them, but you couldn't even help him do that.
And I'm telling you, I was making millions. And I left it.
So why were you neglecting your 16-year-old's needs? Now, there was one time where her daughter's vision was getting concerningly blurry. And as you'll hear in the video, she literally acknowledges that her daughter's vision is getting worse than it usually is. But that isn't a cause of concern for her. She doesn't care. And so under her husband's recommendation, which by the way, he is just as guilty as she is, he suggests that they should take her to the emergency room. And you want to know what this bitch does? She begins to clean the house. She cleans the bathrooms and mops the floors in order to stall. She literally says that in her own words. She's doing this on purpose.
I'm cleaning the sink, I'm cleaning the countertops, mopping the floor. I'm stalling. But
that wasn't enough, because after doing unnecessary cleaning, she then goes to take a shower and put on some lip gloss.
I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready to leave. I put on a little bit of lip gloss and that will be as much stalling as I'll go. And so she woke up this morning and she's like, Mom, my vision is really blurry, like more blurry than it usually is. Kevin just came in and he's like, I think we need to take Sherry to the emergency room. I said, well, let me take a shower and then I'll be out. It's been an hour, so.
You are literally getting yourself dolled up to take your daughter to the hospital when she needed to go as soon as she told you that her vision was getting worse. And this one made me incredibly fucking angry. And that is saying a lot because we are nowhere near done with this video. But on the 28th of August last year, I woke up feeling like the absolute worst I had ever felt in my entire life and will probably ever feel in my entire life. I'm not gonna get into it, but I needed to go to the emergency room immediately. And you wanna know what my parents did? They dropped everything immediately to take me to the hospital. I don't think they had even eaten. I don't think they had showered. I don't think the house was even clean. But they didn't care. They rushed me down to that hospital as fast as humanly possible. Because that is what you are supposed to do when you are a parent. That is how you are supposed to treat your sick child. You don't pamper yourself for an hour straight while your child is struggling in the other room. You don't clean the house because you want to stall getting your child the help that she so clearly needs. Now, moving on to the next clip. I don't know what parent in their right goddamn mind would do something like this, but her son was excelling in football. It sounds to me like he could have been a future star player. But because football was the only thing he was responsible about, and the only thing that he showed up for, she took that away from him. She made her son get rid of the only thing in the world that he was passionate about.
I have a pretty controversial experience that when I share it, people are kind of like, what? But we had a child who was showing up dishonest, irresponsible, not humble in the home, dishonest, irresponsible, not humble at school, dishonest, irresponsible, not humble at peers' homes. But there was one place he always showed up, and that was at his sport of choice, football. And he did exactly what the coaches said. If the coaches told him to do something, he'd do it, and he'd do it extra. If he saw teammates who were upset, he would rally them. He was on time to practice. He stayed and helped clean up. I mean, The coaches loved him. The teammates loved him. He showed up and performed, exactly as expected at the games. And I remember the day when I had a shift in perspective. It was like, because that's the only place he's showing up responsible. That's the one thing that he needs to get rid of.
Ruby robbed her very own son of a possible future scholarship into a very good college, or the chances to play in the big leagues simply just because she wanted to have more control over him. Any other parent would see this as an opportunity to support their child, to encourage their child. Because if that's the only thing that they're passionate about, then you support them in the only thing that they're passionate about. And then she had the audacity to say that he was manipulating her.
We need to get rid of it because he's being compartmentalized and he's manipulating, because obviously he knows how to show up responsible because he's showing up responsible. He just doesn't want to show up responsible at home. He doesn't want to show up responsible at school. He's not willing to be honest, responsible, and humble for his thoughts, his feelings, and his choices everywhere else. He's just doing what he wants. And he just happened to want to be above and beyond at football. Why? Because that's where he was getting his worth. Yep. And so when we took away football, we took away his worth. That's what it felt like to him. Mom and Dad, you're taking my worth away. Who am I without football? Well, son, that's exactly why we're taking it away.
You were the one who literally said that football was the only thing that gave him worth. So you needed to strip that worth away from him so that he'd do what you want and act the way that you wanted him to act. Is that not textbook manipulation? And it just gets worse. Because she doesn't respect her child's wishes or their privacy. Why would she? In the first clip, Ruby's daughter explicitly asks not to be filmed. But Ruby doesn't care because she keeps recording regardless of how her daughter feels about it.
Can you not film it?
So I just
She just got rejected.
She has no idea what I'm gonna say. She's like thinking, she's conjuring up the worst things in her head.
Because it probably is gonna be the worst things in my head.
And in this next clip, which admittedly was very hard for me to watch because it's an incredibly strange clip, but she is making her daughter feel uncomfortable by recording a conversation that's meant to be had in private with your mother or an older sister by broadcasting it to the entire world.
And Julie has been asking all summer if she can shave her legs and armpits, and I
never said that. I
don't want to. You don't?
No. Julie, you should shave your
I think your armpits need to be shaved more than your legs do.
When you start speaking, when you start getting BO.
You are embarrassing her, and you are prioritizing making content over helping your daughter. You don't need to film every single little conversation that you have with your children. That is something that is meant to be private.
Here's the deal. Everything that comes into this house belongs to who?
Yeah.
Belongs to me. Everything. So you don't have a cell phone, you have access to a phone.
I don't.
Chad does not have a cell phone I took from him. He has access, which benefits were withdrawn. See how that works?
Oh, he doesn't have access to his phone? Well, you don't have access to any of their future grandchildren. You don't have access to their future weddings. You don't have access to their future homes around the holidays. My mom bought these headphones for me 2 years ago for Christmas. And has she ever taken these from me? No, she hasn't. Why? Because when you buy something for someone, it is no longer yours. Sure, if your child won't, say, clean their room, you can take their phone only up until they've cleaned their bedroom. And then you give it right back to them, not only because it is their property, but because they literally did as they were told. And this kind of continues on into my next point because Ruby has some twisted obsession with claiming everything as hers. Because in a video one of her children made where she was answering a question in which somebody asked her, what are you excited about for the new house? And she says that she's looking forward to her new bedroom, like every single child moving into a new house is.
Are you looking forward to the most in the new house? For sure, my new room, not my room, mom's room that she's letting me have or use.
In what world have you ever heard something as bizarre as that? When I was growing up, my mum would say things like, my house, my rules. But she never and would never say anything like, my bedroom, my brother's bedroom, or my sister's bedroom were all hers, and that she was just letting us use them. You don't let your child have a bedroom because you chose to have this child, which means it's your responsibility to take care of them, which means giving them housing. You don't let your child have a bedroom. They deserve that bedroom. They are owed that bedroom because you put them here. And speaking of bedrooms, did you know that Ruby literally took her son's bedroom privileges away from him for 7 months because of one simple prank that he pulled on his brother? Something all siblings have done to each other since the dawn of time.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October. And they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. I think so. I think this is the reason. At least this is the reason that's been in my head. It's pretty funny, but now that I look back, I mean, it's pretty depressing.
No, we never told our viewers.
That I woke Russell up at 2 in the morning and told him that we're going to Disneyland and he has to pack. And he got up and made his bed all neatly and then packed all his clothes in a suitcase. And then he walked out the door and I'm like, Russell, and he's like, what? And he's all happy. Has his sunglasses on.
And then when he starts laughing because his siblings are also laughing about the harmless prank, she threatens to take his room away from him again after making him sleep on a fucking beanbag for over half a year.
Do you think it's funny? Because
And then I walk out.
if you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
You know how you could have handled that situation? Hey, your brother is really upset that you pranked him last night. Please don't do that again, or you can't go out to the movies like you want to this weekend. That is how you handle that situation. Not taking his basic rights away from him by making him sleep on the floor. But that isn't even the only time that she's made one of her kids sleep on the floor. She was too lazy to change her daughter's bed sheets when they needed to be changed. So she suggested that her daughter go and sleep in the bathroom rather than giving her fresh sheets like 99% of parents do.
Eve came and got in bed with me at about 2 this morning. She's like, Mom, I peed the bed, which is not like her. She pees the bed maybe like once every 8 months. Like, it's been a very long time since she wet the bed. I was like, oh, darn it, that's all right. Just go sleep on the floor in the bathroom.
Or she could have at the very least stripped the bed, thrown the bed sheets into the washing machine and said, okay, how about you just come sleep in my bed with me tonight, and in the morning I'll make your bed nice and fresh, okay? But no, it was go sleep on the cold, hard tiles of our bathroom while I go back to bed in a nice, warm, cozy plush mattress with blankets and pillows. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't end with these two children because it just keeps going. The way that she treats her children when they're sick is absolutely horrific. Her son was vomiting, okay? And her solution to his vomiting is to make him sleep on the bathroom floor right next to the toilet.
We're gonna put a pillow and a blanket by the toilet, and you can camp out in the bathroom, okay?
How could she sleep at night knowing that her child, who is already in an immense amount of pain, is sleeping on the bathroom floor? You know what you do in that situation? You grab a towel and you lay it right next to the bed. And then you put a bucket on top of that towel, because then if he gets the urge to need to vomit, he can just do it over his bed and he doesn't have to run to the bathroom or sleep on the bathroom floor right by the toilet, and he can actually sleep in his very own bed. Maybe you could have possibly gone and grabbed him some medicine that he needed and then watched over him for about 15 to 25 minutes before going back to bed, just to make sure he doesn't throw up again and just to make sure he gets back to sleep. Now this next video is infuriating to me because she's talking about her 2 youngest children like they're 21-year-olds. So basically, she completely robbed her 2 youngest children of a Christmas because they were being selfish and they were unwilling to repent. And as somebody on TikTok said, they were 8 years old. What do they have to repent for?
The 2 youngest are showing long patterns of selfishness. They have been showing, through their choices, their unwillingness to repent, their unwillingness to feel sorrow over some pretty egregious choices that they've made. So Kevin and I have decided that we are going to give the gift of truth to them this year for Christmas. We are going to give them the gift of boundaries, and we're going to give them the gift of repentance.
We just laid it out very clear. And we told them that this year they are not going to be visited by Santa.
Christmas morning, their 4 older siblings will be getting Christmas presents to open, and that they will have the gift of love from their dad and I. Because we want them to really have a visceral experience that hits them.
She robbed these 2 children of a Christmas and yet continued to give her 4 other children Christmas presents. She excluded those children. She made them watch their siblings open gifts that were for them under the Christmas tree while they got nothing except the gift of love. When you are a parent, love is not a gift. Love is a mandatory. Now I want to discuss the fact that not only did Ruby and Kevin take their son out of football, therefore taking the opportunity of a future scholarship away from him, but they threw his homework into a bag and said that the only way he was able to get that homework back is if he paid for it.
So what I did was I went around the house and I have
throwing them away.
Yes.
That's my homework.
Whoa,
Oh, whoa. Homework. I need that to turn that in tomorrow. No, I'm serious. That's like half my grade right now.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I will throw this at the wall. I need that homework, Mom.
Okay, so if you have something in the bag that you would like out, you can pay cash for it. So you learn the value of your items.
He had to pay for homework that he gets at school for free. And if they don't pay up at the end of the day, it gets thrown in the bin.
And whatever isn't claimed by the end of the day goes in the garbage.
Taking him away from football, the only thing he's passionate about, therefore taking away a scholarship. Throwing his homework in the bin and saying that he has to pay for it even though he gets it from the school for free. Do you not want this child to succeed? Also, did you even think about the fact that if he goes to school the next day without his homework, he's the one who gets into trouble? And it just keeps going because she purposely deprives her children of food. Food is a necessity. We need food to survive. If we don't eat food, we will literally starve to death. And she uses that against them. In this video, her toddler, toddler is crying. And so she says to her toddler, if you don't stop crying, you don't get to eat.
We bless the food. Let's have
We bless the food, but we need to have family prayer. Stop crying or I'm going to have you go upstairs and you won't have any breakfast.
Okay.
Not only is that sickening in the moment because you are literally refusing to feed a toddler, but do you know the issues that you are going to cause for this child in the future by telling her that if she doesn't stop crying, she's gonna starve? Do you know what that is going to do to her brain when she grows up? And I can't watch this video back because it literally made me cry. This kid has the darkest bags under his eyes. He looks exhausted and he's just asking for some food. And she denies him food, saying that he doesn't need it. And oh my God, oh my God.
Can you give me some breakfast?
You don't need food.
Thank you.
And then she gets a phone call from her 9-year-old because he doesn't have anything to eat. And so the natural conclusion that all kids would go to is I'm going to call my mom to see if she can bring me something down from home so I can eat. But she lets him go hungry because, oh, you forgot to pack your lunch and you forgot to bring your lunch money. He's 9! You are supposed to pack his lunch. He's 9 years old. And he forgot to bring his own lunch money again. And I'm gonna reiterate this. He is 9 years old. What money does he have?
Unless you find a friend who's willing to share some of their food with you, I don't think you're going to be able to eat. But if you're not responsible for your lunch and your lunch money, that's the natural consequence. And I'm really sorry you're learning this the hard way.
And then she also says, oh, maybe someone else is willing to give you food. He shouldn't have to rely on his peers and his classmates to feed him.
I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? Because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, so the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
Or how about this one clip where she literally says to her youngest daughter, if you don't rub my back, you're not gonna eat. And then when her daughter says, you are so mean, I don't care.
Eve, jump in. Massage my back. Get rubbing. Okay, massage my back. Get scratching. Scratch my head. Come on, you gotta earn your keep. You don't get breakfast if you don't massage my back.
You're so mean.
Okay. Get up there and scratch. I guess you don't get food today.
And then in this video, she says that she's just gonna stop waking her daughter up entirely because she wakes up grumpy and literally has to drag her out of bed. And that she can just get ready by herself. No, she can't. She's 5 years old. She's in preschool. She can't get herself out of bed. She doesn't have an alarm, bro.
She woke up and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to wake her up because every time I wake her up, she gets super grumpy and upset and I have to literally drag her and get her dressed. And she's old enough to do that herself. And she missed preschool. She slept in and she woke up and she's like, I'm ready to go to preschool. I said, you know what? Preschool's over. You slept through it. I'm sorry. And she's like, what? And I said, you need to get up and get ready if you're going to go to preschool because I'm not going to drag you out of bed. And
she can't control when she wakes up.
Apparently she can.
No, because I woke.
It doesn't matter how grumpy she is with you in the morning. Kids are like that. It doesn't matter how you feel. It is your job to get your daughter to preschool. You can't expect a 5-year-old to function like a high schooler. But even in the video that she's recording, you can clearly see that her kids are doing her job for her. Because here you have one girl and she's straightening her siblings' hair. And then you have the oldest daughter literally getting the youngest ready for school. Again, something that you're supposed to do because that's your job. You're making these kids raise each other. Or how about when her sons were literally just playing on the floor? They were clearly just wrestling. None of them were getting hurt. They were both laughing. They both had smiles on their faces, and here she comes, oh, if you don't stop that, you lose the privilege to eat dinner tonight.
You're torturing him. Stop it. I know you're not, but it looks like you are. Okay, Russell. I'm only going to say it one more time, and then you're going to lose the privilege to eat dinner.
What can these kids do? You take away the TVs, you take away their ability to have friends, you take away their phones.
I don't know. You tell me what you're feeling.
Mad.
Mad?
Because I really won't get anything this summer. I won't be able to go anywhere. No, I don't have any friends. No iPads, no TV, nothing.
Like, what can they have? If they can't even wrestle together on the floor and play together, what do you want them to do? I could not be happier that these children are away from their mother and that they will never have to see her ever again in their lives. That is the biggest relief I have heard all year. I wish the absolute worst on this woman for the rest of her life in prison, and that's all I have to say.